Good morning, baseball fans. How you doing? Welcome to this morning's stream. We got a few things to talk about. We got Nathan Eovaldi. We got Carlos Correa. We got Sean Murphy. How you doing, everyone? Good morning. Sorry, it took me a little bit to get here. I had to get my coffee ready. There was a bunch of stuff going on in the background over here I had to take care of, but here we are. We're here. How you doing, everyone? Good morning. Man, we had a lot happen last night. And I was not able to go live last night. I was out. I had prior obligations last night. And, so here we are. Another morning stream. You know, I like when I have time off of work. And then, because I can do the morning streams. They just, I don't know, there's a certain charm to the morning streams. I do like them quite a lot. But, how we doing, everyone? A couple of moderators here in the chat. We got some members here in the chat. Rakshit Dewan is here. How you doing? Andrew Lee, how you doing? Nicholas, how you doing, my friend? Welcome. Jim Smith, hello, my friend. Monique, how you doing? Robert, Jeff, Justin, how you doing, everyone? Welcome to this morning's stream. And we are going to talk a little Nathan Eovaldi. I'm quite sad, a little sad that Nathan Eovaldi will not be coming back to the Red Sox. I thought there was a chance that he could come back, but in the end, went to the Texas Rangers. And the Texas Rangers, they listened to Robbie Claus's idea of signing Nathan Eovaldi. I'm just saying, that was my gift for the Rangers, was Nathan Eovaldi. I thought it made a lot of sense. He's from Texas. I felt like they could use some more starting pitching, especially, Jacob deGrom, Andrew Heaney in that rotation, having some health concerns. I think, to me, Nathan Eovaldi, he was a little up and down with the injuries last year as well. But I think, to me, the Rangers, they got to add as much starting pitching as they can. And the Rangers, they're looking pretty good right now. I'm liking the look of the Rangers. And we're going to talk a little Carlos Correa. What's going on with him? What's the update with him? And the Braves signing Sean Murphy to an extension. I'm going to rave about the Atlanta Braves this morning. What else is there to say? This is probably one of the most well-run organizations in all of baseball, and I hope the Red Sox maybe learn a thing or two when it comes to extending your players. And, I think a lot of teams can really learn a lot from the Atlanta Braves. So we'll get into that. But everyone, if you can, before I do get started, if you are new to the channel, think about subscribing down below. Hit the like button, everyone. That's going to help us get out into the algorithm. Hit the bell notification. Share the stream as well. Don't forget about our sponsors for today. We have Bet Online. Use the code BELIEVE, BLEAV, and you get a 50% welcome bonus. You can bet on all kinds of sports over on Bet Online. Right now, obviously, baseball is not an option, but basketball is in full swing. Football, we're approaching the playoffs. You got MMA, tennis, golf. Go check it all out at Bet Online. Once again, use the code BELIEVE, BLEAV, and you get a 50% welcome bonus. And don't forget about our partners here on the channel. We have Prize Picks, also very good if you're into the sports betting game. Use my code GINGER. You can play the over-unders over there. You can have a 100% deposit match using my code GINGER. Don't forget about SeatGeek. Hey, baseball season, like I said, it's not really going on right now, but you got tons of other sports. Go check out SeatGeek. Go get some tickets for something. You can even go to a concert. They got concert tickets over there. Use my code HYDE. You get $20 off. And also, one more, Manscaped. We're trying to land Manscaped as a full-time sponsor. Use my code HYDE. They got some great stuff over there. If you're looking to clean up the nether regions, my fellow men in the chat, go check out Manscaped. They got some great stuff over there. Alrighty. Enough of me blabbering over here. Let's get to the news. I got the music ready. And I think the first order of business here, I think we got to talk a little Nathan Eovaldi. And, with Nathan Eovaldi, there is, like I said, I like this move. I think it's great for the Texas Rangers. To me, I think the Rangers needed to get as much pitching depth as they can. And this was first. Who was the first to announce this? I believe, was it Jeff Passan? I think Jeff Passan was the first to announce it. But when we take a look at Nathan Eovaldi here, again, up and down season last year for Nathan Eovaldi. He looked great in 2021. He was absolutely fantastic. He was basically the Red Sox ace in 2021, but up and down last year, having a lot of things going on. But he didn't have a bad season necessarily. It just wasn't as sharp as he was in 2021. He only had 20 starts, a 3.87 ERA. But if we take a look at the FIP, not now Trevor Bauer, my goodness, but if you take a look at the FIP, a 4.30 FIP. So he was giving up a lot more hard hit contact last year. Again, his stuff just was not as sharp. When you're having injuries and whatnot, you're up and down, you're on and off the IL. You can't really stay in a routine very much. So he did the best that he could. But I think for the Texas Rangers, I really like how this team is looking right now. So let's actually go pull it up here on Fangraphs. So again, for Nathan Eovaldi, the contract is a 2-year, $34 million deal. So a $17 million AAV. That's exactly where I thought he was going to end up landing when it came to the AAV. And then there's a vesting option for 2025 if he has 300 innings pitched between this coming season and next season. So if he averages at least 150 innings per season over the next 2 seasons, he gets $20 million a season for 2025. That's not too bad, if you ask me. I think that's a good option in there, but I think it's a fair option. I think if Eovaldi, he can keep himself healthy, 150 innings. I mean, come on, that's doable. That is definitely doable for Nathan Eovaldi. So that's what I'm thinking here. I like the contract. Now, it's a really intriguing question to me because there are reports out there that the Red Sox had offered a 3-year deal. I'm not sure what happened with that 3-year deal. I don't know if it was a lower AAV. I don't know if there was an option in there that maybe wasn't as good as this option. I don't know what it was with the Red Sox and Nathan Eovaldi. I thought there was a really good chance. The Red Sox will get a compensation pick for this from the Texas Rangers. So I just figured, man, the Red Sox, hey, good for the Rangers. And hey, willing to give up a draft pick for Nathan Eovaldi. I like the way their rotation is looking. If we go take a look at it right now. So they actually have Nathan Eovaldi as the number 4. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know. I think he's more of a number 2 in this rotation, if you ask me. Jacob deGrom will get the opening day nod. But then, this is really not bad looking. You got Jake Odorizzi, but to me, I felt like Jake Odorizzi, especially with, he hasn't been as durable in the last couple of years. I feel like Jake Odorizzi will be better for the bullpen, personally. But I like the look of the rotation. If this rotation, if they can all stay healthy, if they can make their turn every 5th day, I like how this looks. I think Nathan Eovaldi is more of a number 2. So you got Jacob deGrom, Nathan Eovaldi. Martin Perez had a good season last year. John Gray is fine as a number 4. Did miss some starts last year. And then Andrew Heaney is your number 5. And if Andrew Heaney ends up being healthy, this guy had a really good strikeout to walk ratio last year. I like this rotation. I like how it's looking. So, and I like the way the Rangers are looking, honestly. I think it's just a nice-looking team right now. Sure, maybe they could use a little bit more in this bullpen, but they got some arms in this bullpen. The lineup, obviously, looking pretty good. I like it. I don't think the Rangers are quite there, but they're definitely on the right track. Like, this is probably the most exciting Rangers team we've seen in a little bit now. So, Rangers fans, I think you should be quite excited for this coming season. Hopefully, a clean bill of health for everyone on this team. And I think this Rangers team could do some damage. They're definitely not going to be easy to beat in this American League West. Now, let me shift over here to the Red Sox side of things. I know, here comes my giraffe neck Robbie. But I think for the Red Sox, what do they do now? Nathan Eovaldi, obviously off the market now. But there is a report in this article on The Athletic is that the Red Sox are now showing, or they have shown, heavy interest in Corey Kluber. That was a prediction of mine coming into the offseason. I had the Red Sox signing Corey Kluber. Corey Kluber didn't have a great second half last year, but he doesn't give up a lot of hard hit contact, doesn't give up a lot of exit velocity, and the Chaim Bloom tends to like pitchers like that. And Corey Kluber is a veteran guy. He's been healthy the last couple of years. I could see the Red Sox pivoting towards Corey Kluber. And it's funny, we just had a report from John Heyman not too long ago that the teams were calling about Chris Sale. I actually made a video about Chris Sale. I don't think he's going to end up getting traded, but I think you can never say never when it comes to whatever it is with the Red Sox right now, when it comes to the players that they currently have. You never say never. You could absolutely end up trading Chris Sale. He has a negative value right now. He's been hurt basically for the last 3 years. He is making $27.5 million for the next couple of seasons. To me, yeah, he sounds like it would be impossible to move, but you never say never. There's always a way you can move guys. If the Red Sox are motivated to move him, now I don't think they are. I think they would probably like to hang on to him. The thing with the Red Sox is they want to be setting themselves up for down the road, but they also want to try and keep a competitive team on the field. This is why they're signing guys like Justin Turner and Yoshida and Kenley Jansen. So obviously they're looking to put a competitive team on the field. How competitive they will be, I don't know. But if there is a deal there for Chaim Bloom, where if you can make something work, if you can throw in some cash, maybe pay the first year of that deal with Chris Sale, because he's got 2 years, $27.5 million, maybe not the full salary for the first season. I don't know, maybe you send over $15-20 million, something to offset the negative value of him. You know, if you can pay enough money of that contract to be able to bring in some players, I think that's definitely possible. Could you maybe put Chris Sale in a deal with Rafael Devers? You know, maybe throw in some cash as well, and then the Red Sox could end up getting a pretty nice package. I put a tweet yesterday. Actually, I think it was a couple nights ago. Man, that tweet, it got some traction out on Twitterland, man. Twitterland is not a fun place to be sometimes, but I put a suggestion out there. I think it was, let me go to baseball trade values here. Let me go to the trade itself. Let's take a look here. Baseball trade values, man. Pretty fun trade that I put here. Well, I guess it depends on how you look at it, but here we go. Baseball trade values, the best baseball trade simulator on the market. Now, this is the trade that I came up with if you were to do Rafael Devers and Chris Sale. I did Rafi Devers, Chris Sale, who has a negative $13 million worth of value right now, and $27.5 million of cash. That's his that's his salary for this coming season. So he ended up getting a value of 51.5 all in all. And for the Red Sox, yeah, it's not the most flashy looking package, but I think people need to understand there's a lot of people out there that still don't quite understand trades. You know, like you see names like Rafael Devers and Chris Sale, people think you're going to, you know, get Bryce Harper back, or you're going to get Mike Trout. You know what I mean? Like, but it's not really how it's working. This is in my opinion, this is a very similar trade to the Mookie Betts, David Price trade. You know, very similar when you take a look at the whole thing. The Red Sox, they had Mookie Betts. David Price had a negative value at the time, and then they threw in some cash to kind of offset that negative value. So that's why the Red Sox were able to get back the package that they got. I could see something happening. Probably not, though, because I think the Red Sox, they want to keep these guys. Obviously, they want to extend Rafael Devers, but I don't know. I'm not saying this is the best trade necessarily, but this is more just an example of what a trade could look like. It's something that I could see Chaim Bloom doing. Now, not necessarily this one. Could you maybe do something with the St. Louis Cardinals? Maybe you could do something with the Dodgers, you know? This one that I came up with the Red Sox, you're getting Alec Boehm back. I think his right-handed bat could fit pretty nicely at Fenway Park. Connor Brogdon for the bullpen. Bailey Falter, young starting pitcher for the rotation. A pretty intriguing prospect with Hao-Yu Lee. And Edmundo Sosa could be your second baseman. I don't like it. I don't like this deal, but it works, at least on paper. So I'm not a fan of this deal necessarily. I would rather see what else you could get out there on the market. But I do wonder if you could put Chris Sale with Rafael Devers. I don't know. I don't think they will. I think they're going to keep Chris Sale in the end, because at the end, it's negative value. So it's like getting out of a car payment. You know, when you're underwater on a car payment, you're going to be losing in the end. So I personally don't like this, but I do wonder if maybe something like this could happen. I still think there is a very good chance Devers ends up getting traded. I definitely think, I mean, this is the same situation as Mookie Betts. I think they need to sign him long term. It's such a no-brainer to me. I understand maybe where the Red Sox are coming from. They wonder how he'll, be when he's maybe 33, 34 years old. I think they worry about his defense a little bit, even though his defense did improve last year. I just wonder, that, what do you end up doing with Rafael Devers? But in the end, kind of got off topic there. But Nathan Eovaldi going to the Rangers. I think the Red Sox will definitely pivot at some point. And I think Corey Kluber is definitely an option. Rich Hill just went to the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's another story as well. Going to the Pirates for $8 million. Big bucks for the Pittsburgh Pirates. You don't ever see the Pirates end up spending, $8 million. That's pretty unique for the Pittsburgh Pirates. But let's take a look here. And let's go to our next story. Now, let's talk a little Sean Murphy. I absolutely love this. For the Atlanta Braves. It is just absolutely crazy what this team, how Alex Anthopoulos continues to just do these extensions. Like, they're just so good. He is, to me, what every Major League Baseball executive should be at this point. Recognize the talent when they're young, right? Or, Sean Murphy, on the other hand, they just traded for him. But look at all these other guys that they had. Ronald Acuna Jr., that was the big first one. Austin Riley. They've had many. Or Spencer Strider they just signed recently. They recognize the talent, right? They know what these guys are. They have a good feeling of what these guys are going to be. That's what I think Major League Baseball teams need to do. They need to get these guys signed up, right? Because to me, a player, if it were me, if I'm a Major League Baseball player, I don't want to be going through arbitration every single year. I'd rather just have a contract, knowing what I'm going to be making every single year. That, to me, just sounds way better. And then if I get out onto the market when I'm 31, 32, okay, then I can go get myself a new contract. That, to me, I think that's just such a great way of doing it, right? Because the way for the Braves is when those guys end up hitting free agency, like Austin Riley, Ronald Acuna Jr., Sean Murphy eventually. Okay, well, then this is why you also got to have very good scouting in your department, good development in your minor league system. And the Braves, they feel like they're just going to be able to continue to develop these players, and then they can just do the same thing again. The Braves are signing these guys through their younger and prime years. Like, that to me is a winning strategy. It makes so much sense. I think, to me, teams need to be following this formula. They need to be following this philosophy. And for the, sorry to get back to the Red Sox here, but this is what they should have done. This is what the Red Sox should have done with Rafael Devers from the start. When Rafael Devers hit that home run off of Aroldis Chapman at Yankee Stadium, what was it, 2016? 2017? Can't remember the year exactly. But you all know what I'm talking about. Aroldis Chapman closing out the game. Rafael Devers comes up to the plate, Yankee Stadium. You got a lefty-lefty matchup. Rafael Devers was, 20, 22, 21 at the time? And he just hits an oppo home run off of Aroldis Chapman? I mean, you should have signed Rafael Devers on the spot when he tied up that game. Or was that a go-ahead home run? I can't remember. I'm still waking up over here. I got my coffee right here. But that is when you should have signed the guy long-term. Like, that is special. That is something that you just knew Rafael Devers was going to be a prime-time player, So, I don't know. Same, Xander Bogaerts, the Red Sox did sign to an extension, but there was an opt-out in there. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. It was Xander Bogaerts. Maybe they could have offered him, a long time ago, 10-year deal, something like that. 9-year deal, something like Austin Riley just got 10 years, $210 million, $21 million a year. Also with the Braves, Matt Olson too. They traded for Matt Olson. They knew this guy was going to be probably their first baseman for years to come. All right, so give him the extension. You know, it's like, I don't know. To me, I'd rather make sure all my chickens are in a row, or ducks in a row. How do you say it? Is it chickens or ducks? I can't remember. But I'd rather know that I have everything that I have in order for the next 6 to 7, 8 years. You know what I mean? And that way you can just focus. The major league team is intact. Yeah, sure, you can make trades, you can make signings along the way, but you know your core is in place for years to come, right? And then you can just let the minor leagues, you can let the farm system just do what they got to do. So, and that way when the time comes, when these guys' contracts are coming up, you got a new wave of young talent ready to just step in, and then you can sign those guys to contract extensions. It's absolutely amazing, right, what Anthopoulos is doing. If we go take a look at the payroll, so getting back to the original story, they just signed Sean Murphy to a 6-year, $73 million deal. And what a bargain. This is a bargain. Sean Murphy last year was worth, I believe, right around $50 million bucks. $40 million bucks last year. He was worth $40 million last year. And he got this guy to sign up for a $73 million deal for 6 years. And that is fantastic. That's going to kick in 2025. I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, I don't know. Anthopoulos, man, he has a way of doing things. I think it's awesome, man. I love what he's doing here. You got so many guys, just like your core players now for 5-6 years. Austin Riley, Matt Olson, Ronald Acuna Jr. You do have the club options, but those are club options, so they can bring him back. Strider, you got locked up for a little while here. Now Murphy, Michael Harris. That was another one I left out. Michael Harris II. They signed him up long term. Like, why aren't the Red Sox doing stuff like this? Why aren't the Yankees doing stuff like this? Why aren't these teams like the Cubs? The Dodgers. They've done a couple where they've done a couple extensions there, but teams need to be following this. Like, this is like, Michael Harris II. You're going to be having him around until he's 29 years old. Sean Murphy, you're going to be having him around until he's 34, right? And then at that point, if he goes out into the open market, maybe he can just come back to the Braves for a couple more years, something like that. Spencer Strider, you got him until he's 30. Matt Olson, you got him until he's 35. Austin Riley, you got him until he's 34, 35. Like, that's when you should be signing players up until, right? The Red Sox should have done that with Xander Bogaerts. They should have done that. They should have signed him, 10-year deal back in whatever year it was and signed him through his age 34 season. I know they signed him to a 5-year extension. There was an opt-out in there. I guess at the end of the day, it comes down to what the player wants to do as well. But I don't know. Anthopoulos has a way of doing this, and it works. It's working because he's done it now. How many times? One, with young players. He did 1, 2, 3. He got Olson to an extension. Sean Murphy to an extension. So those are, 5 guys right there that you got locked up. And then Ronald Acuna Jr. too. It's amazing. It's amazing. I think teams need to be following this philosophy here. So they're doing something right over in Brave Land. I'll tell you that. But last story. What's going on with Carlos Correa? What is happening with Carlos Correa? I don't know what the heck is going on here. He was a San Francisco. Well, first off, the Giants, they had Arson Judge, and then they pivoted. They got Carlos Correa, and then Carlos Correa is no longer a San Francisco Giant, and then he's a New York Met, and now it's like he's going to be a New York Met. I don't know what the heck is going on here. What is going on here? But according to the latest from John Heyman, the belief is Correa, whose strong preference is to play for the Mets, isn't open to restructuring the length or the financial terms. So that could mean, so, okay, he doesn't want to decrease the length or the financial terms. So I'm guessing that means the money. So does that mean opt-outs? Or is he opposed to opt-outs? Is he opposed to club options? I don't know. It doesn't. It's not. It's a little. Doesn't really tell you a whole lot. Length or financial terms, unless financial terms also means opt-outs. I don't know if that falls under that umbrella, but either way, Carlos Correa, he does not want to change the contract. So, or at least doesn't want to change like the main parts of the contract, the years and the dollars. So, another bit of a note here is that 3 teams have been in contact with Correa's camp. Now, I'm wondering who these teams could be. I'm wondering because I don't know, man. I'm trying to think of who these teams. I know one team. At least I don't know it, but I have a very strong inkling about what one team is. So Rosenthal, he ended up going on to write here about Carlos Correa. The parties could agree to a restructured contract if the Mets continue to express reservations about the long-term stability of Correa's leg. Oh, so that is also, I don't know if I ever talked about that. So I guess it was something with his ankle. He hurt his ankle a long time ago while he was in the minor leagues. He also just hurt his ankle last year at the end of the season. So something's coming up there. But then again, I don't know, man. It's like, if it's a fracture, I don't know, bones heal, right? I feel like it should be fine. If you're willing to give this guy millions of dollars, I don't know, like how concerned are you? Like, or are you actually concerned about the leg, or are you just trying to use the injury as leverage to try and get some better terms? I don't know, like, because I don't know, like, to me, if a guy has like something going on there, I'm thinking like, man, I'm not giving this guy anything. You know, I'm not offering this guy millions of dollars because like how it's a fracture or whatever it was. I don't know. To me, I feel like he'll end up being fine if that's what it was. I thought maybe it was something going on with his hip or like his shoulder or something. I don't know. But going on with this quote here, it might be difficult for the Mets to back out of the agreement entirely after their owner, Steve Cohen, went on record talking about the deal. Rosenthal, who cares about what Cohen said? Cohen said what he said before the physical. What do you think he's gonna... Do you think Steve Cohen... Sure, he loves the Mets fans. But do you really think he's gonna like be like, oh no, everyone in New York is gonna hate me. I can't back out of this deal. Do you really think Steve Cohen is gonna think that? Come on, Ken, what are you talking about? It also might be difficult for Correa to re-enter the free agent market and land a comparable contract. Now that makes a little more sense. I think Correa, at this point, he is motivated to get this done. Because if he goes out into the open market again, I mean, is he going to be able to get these terms? I don't know, man. I don't know. That's not a good look. It's not a good look. Giants didn't want you, and then the Mets, if they end up not wanting you, like, you have no leverage at that point. You have no leverage for a long-term deal. You would have to take short deals for the rest of your career. Now, let's talk about the teams that I think could be the ones that are trying to jump back in. I think the Twins, first off. I definitely think the Twins. I mean, they've been wanting Correa. I guess the contract that they had offered, I was reading on, I forget where I was reading this, but it was 10 years, $285. So I think, and then Boris basically was telling them like, hey, you're going to have to up your offer there. So I think the Twins are still in play. If he wants a 10-year deal, 10 plus years, I definitely think the Twins would take him back. So I don't know. At this point, I don't know what's going on with the Mets. I definitely think there's still a chance. I would probably lean more towards that he is going to end up with the Mets. But then again, like I said earlier in the stream, never say never, right? But another team, I wonder, could maybe be in on the mix. I wonder. I don't think the Giants would jump back in. I think the Giants have basically just moved on at this point. Could maybe, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to bring up my Red Sox, but I wonder if they feel like they could get him on a short-term deal. They were in on Dansby Swanson at one point until the Cubs basically gave him the best offer. So I wonder if they could jump in but then again, I don't think Carlos Correa is going to want a short-term deal. So I don't know. But Correa, if I were to guess the 3 teams, I definitely think the Twins. I wonder maybe the Yankees. Probably not. I'd probably say no on the Yankees, but They're always just there. The Dodgers have basically already said before they don't have interest in Correa, so I don't think it's going to be the Dodgers. You know, if I'm actually going here, let me go to the shortstops. Let me go to the projection leaders. If I'm looking at teams that need a shortstop, I don't know. Like, I'm just looking at all these teams. Again, I said the Red Sox. I don't think the Mariners. Probably not the Mariners. Definitely not the Cubs now. Probably not the Cardinals. I don't know. Maybe the Cardinals could be hanging around. Possibly. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't seem like something they would do. Maybe the Yankees. But again, I think they feel like they like that up the middle of Volpe and Peraza in the future. And again, the Twins seem to be the team that probably makes the most sense to me as of right now, if it's not the Mets. Other than that, I don't see it, man. Not the Phillies. Not the Rangers. Not the Padres. So I would probably say, if I were to pick some teams that maybe could be in the mix, Twins, Red Sox maybe made a phone call. Maybe the Yankees made a phone call. Maybe the Cardinals. Could the Giants have maybe made another phone call? I think the Giants are basically out of it at this point. So, I don't know. Could you imagine the Diamondbacks? I want the Diamondbacks to do something. Why do I have a soft spot for the Arizona Diamondbacks? I don't know what it is. I think the reason I have a soft spot for the D-backs is that 2001 World Series. One of my favorite World Series of all time. I think you could argue that 2001 World Series was the best of all time. At least that Game 7 was. But I think that's why I have a soft spot for the D-backs. I'm not quite sure. But I just want them to do something because I like the talent on that team. But I don't know, whatever. Definitely not. I would love to say the Orioles. I see you on Jason Ritchie. I see you in the chat. I was the one that predicted Correa to the Orioles, but I guess not. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about the Orioles. I don't know what they're doing. But they have basically decided to just stay patient with this team instead of just going out there and spending the big bucks. That's what the Tigers did. The Tigers, they had a pretty decent season in 2021. They went out there. They went and got Javier Baez. Eduardo Rodriguez ended up being terrible last year. So, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on here with Carlos Correa. It's rather interesting. You know, I'm thinking it's going to get done with the Mets here eventually. I think it just makes too much sense or for him to go there, you know? Like, if he's going to play third, he's got such a big market there. You know, Carlos Correa could, man, oh man, over in that market, oof, he could get a lot of sponsors. You know, they could really bring in some money with him, man. It just seems to make a lot of sense. He just seems to be, like, the way his personality is, too, like, just kind of seems to fit, you know, like that New York state of mind. You know what I mean? I don't know. What do I know? But we'll have to wait and see, everyone, what ends up happening. But I'm going to get out of here, everyone. That's basically all there is to talk about as of right now. We talked Nathan Eovaldi, Sean Murphy, Carlos Correa. So basically with Carlos Correa, we don't know what's going on with Carlos Correa. We just know that the Mets and them are still trying to figure it out. There's some other teams jumping in the mix, possibly. We'll have to wait and see. But if there is anything to report for the rest of the day, I'll be here. And everyone, go have yourself a good rest of the day. Parker, I talked about Rich Hill. I talked about it, you know, not really quite in depth, but fine. Since he brought it up, I love it. I love the signing for the Pirates. The Pirates have a bit of a fun team. You know, I was saying this the other day. The Pirates are just looking fun, and I really just like the addition. You know, the Pirates they're doing this thing where they're just signing a lot of veteran guys, and you got a lot of young guys. I think it's just going to be a good mix overall. The young guys can really lean on these veteran guys. And I think they could end up having a pretty decent season, to be completely honest. When you got Rich Hill, I mean, come on. This guy's going to win a Cy Young, man. Rich Hill, I love Rich Hill. I'm going to get out of here, everyone. But have a good rest of your day. And go do something fun. What is today? Is today Wednesday? Today's Wednesday. Go have a fun Wednesday. And I'll talk to you next time.